Assalamu alaikum, how are you all? So today I decided to answer a couple of FAQs. Students often ask me what exam they should appear for. Should they appear for IELTS or should they go for another English proficiency exam, so on and so forth. So I decided that I will make a very short video to explain to you something about each of these more popular exams and also whether you should take one over the other and so on and so forth. So the most popular exam, I have it written down in front of me here, is of course the IELTS exam, right? The International English Language Testing System. The reason why it's the more popular exam is because it is very convenient to sit for IELTS. It is, the exam is held quite frequently in many countries of the world. I think there are about 10 exams happening every week. So a person can appear for, those exams very easily. The eligibility of IELTS is pretty widespread. A lot of places ask for IELTS. So IELTS would probably be the most popular choice. As compared to other exams, it is cheaper, it is easier to prepare, and one can get a good, reasonable band score in a very short period of time. So I would say the first recommendation that I would give would be for IELTS. If your eligibility is met, and if the place of application is asking for IELTS, then I would give IELTS the first rating, the first choice, the first preference. All right. Okay. Now, basically, the choice is really on the institution or the application. It's not a very personal choice, to be honest, because a lot of places do not ask for other scores, but some of them ask for, maybe they're asking for IELTS, maybe they're asking for a TOEFL, they're asking for other exams. So which one should you choose? So as I said, the first preference for me would be IELTS. IELTS has a 2-year validity, which is the case for other exams as well, most other exams as well. So that would be my first choice. The next choice that a lot of people ask about is, of course, TOEFL. TOEFL has the same modules as IELTS. It has a listening, reading, writing, and speaking exam. However, TOEFL can be a little bit challenging because of its unpopularity, let's put it that way, because of its because of the fact that a lot of places don't ask for TOEFL. So it's very hard to find teachers to teach you the exam. It's very hard to find places who will prepare you for TOEFL, right? So TOEFL is not something that I would recommend. But however, if that is what you want to go for, and if that's what your application is asking for, then by no means should you feel discouraged. Go ahead, go for it. Find a reasonable teacher, find a good teacher to teach you the exam, as well as prepare on your own. You have Google at your disposal, and Google is an amazing resource. Google can give you anything under the sun, right? So go online, go find a place where you can sit and prepare for it, and maybe even appear for mocks and so on. All right. The next exam that I want to talk about is the GRE. All right, GRE stands for graduate record examinations, and it is also an English proficiency test. Now, GRE tends to get a little technical, and generally GRE is submitted for postgraduate studies, right? So obviously the recommendation, the requirement for the exam will come from your university of choice, and GRE has to be prepared a little bit rigorously as opposed to TOEFL and IELTS, right? So you'll probably be sitting for two exams for the GRE, the math and the English paper. And the math tends to get very technical, but let's talk about the English section. The English section is also a little bit more technical than IELTS and TOEFL, right? So you will need somebody to help you, a facilitator to help you. You will be required to appear for mocks and so on, but it is not impossible. But again, it depends on the requirement of the the university or where you're applying at. Okay, the next one is GMAT, Graduate Management Admission Test. This is also similar to GMAT. It is for postgrad studies mostly, and it is also required for university applications. It is technical like GRE. Your English has to be very good, but again, it is not a personal choice. But the university is asking for a GMAT score or asking for a GRE score, so you have to sit for it. Okay, the next one is PTE. PTE stands for the Pearson Test of English Academic. Now, I personally haven't prepared anyone for PTE in the past, but I do hope to prepare them in the future. PTE for me, as far as I could see on the information that I found on Google and other sources, PTE tends to be a little bit more technical and a little harder. So I would recommend that if a place is asking for TOEFL or IELTS, then you should go for IELTS or TOEFL and not for PTE, right? And the next exam that I'd like to talk about is the OET. OET stands for Occupational English Test. OET is a technical exam, and it is more of a requirement for students who are coming from a medical background, right? The exam is for nurses, for dentists, and for doctors. If a place has a choice between IELTS and OET, and you are a person coming from a medical background, then I would say go for OET, because OET has some technical information regarding your studies in the medical field, and that gives you a head and shoulder advantage. So when IELTS is becoming a little too hard for you, OET will not be that hard for you at all. However, the OET exam is not held as frequently as other exams. I don't know about other countries. I'm speaking about my country, Pakistan, and there are not a lot of test centers. Like previously in Pakistan, there wasn't a test center. People used to travel to Dubai to give the exam. However, now we have a test center in Islamabad and Karachi, and maybe in other cities as well. So OET could be a very good, possibility for you if you are coming from a medical background. And I've got excellent results for students, from students who took the exam. I prepare for OET as well. So it has the same modules, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, same as IELTS, but the technical information that is asked is different. And of course, the whole format of the exam is different. But for people who are coming from a medical background, they have that advantage. So I would suggest that if you have a choice between IELTS and OET, go for OET, right? I would give it a double thumbs up. However, as compared to IELTS, it is more expensive. It is double the payment. And again, like I said, it is not that frequently held. So you have to register previously, you have to register beforehand, maybe even 6 months in advance to get a seat. So if you're thinking of giving OET, then keep that in mind, okay? All right, the next exam that I would like to talk about is the Duolingo English test. And this is more of a, you know, if you don't have enough time to sit for an exam or prepare for an exam, this is an online exam that is taken in your home. So it has all the security checks and you can sit for it in your house, but the legibility is not as widespread as IELTS or OET. There are very few people who will accept Duolingo. So if they are asking for Duolingo, then yes, you can sit and prepare at home and give the exam and be done with it. You can look at the scoring online and see how it's done, but it is not a very challenging exam and one can get a good score out of it in a very short period of time. But of course, it depends on the eligibility. So today I was able to discuss a few exams of English proficiency. Now you need to see the one that suits you. You need to look at the one that you want to appear for, of course, because of the requirement. And I've given you some brief, sketchy facts about each exam and how to prepare for it and how to appear for it. So IELTS stands at the top. Depending on the eligibility and the requirement and so on and so forth. But of course, you have all these other choices. And good luck. Stay tuned to my channel for more information and prepare well. Don't make studies a burden. Take them on as a challenge. And best of luck to you for your future examinations, and for your future life. Thank you. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.